India's affirmative action program is one of most comprehensive in the world. It is built into the country's 68-year-old constitution and reserves seats in parliament and state assemblies for the country, as most socially disadvantaged groups, as well as government jobs and places in educational institutions. Reservations, or quotas, have been given to the caste-based groups, mainly Dalits, previously known as untouchables, and tribespeople, to rectify historical wrongs perpetrated by the country's harsh and toxic Hindu caste hierarchy. There is ample evidence to prove that these quotas have helped to empower and uplift the socially deprived. The program is also controversial. Identity and caste-based groups clamor for fresh quotas as formal jobs and quality education remain chronically scarce. This has forced the Supreme Court to cap reservations at 50% of the total jobs and seats. No wonder affirmative action has become a tool for politicians to win quick votes. Earlier this week, fresh evidence of this surfaced when Prime Minister Narendra Modi's expert-led government proposed that 10% of government jobs and seats in educational institutions should be reserved for economically backward, upper-caste citizens, those who earn less than 800,000 rupees, $11,500 annually, and own less than 5 acres of land. Since all parties are complicit in mining caste to dole out patronage, few MPs resisted this move. A bill to amend the constitution to allow for the new quotas was passed by the lower house in a record 48 hours. The upper house passed it late on Wednesday. The timing of the move is evidently suspect. The BAP is facing crucial general elections in a few months. The shock defeat of the ruling party in 3 major states recently has energized and united the often fractious opposition ahead of the summer elections. Mr. Modi, a charismatic campaigner and his party's prime vote-getter, no longer looks unbeatable. Farmer jobs have dried up, and farmers across the country are struggling because of poor crop prices. This is an 11th-hour ploy to shape a pre-election economic narrative, says Malad Vaishnav, a senior fellow and director of the South Asia program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. It is difficult to argue otherwise. India's economy may be reasonably buoyant, but the rising tide is no longer lifting our boats. Put simply, there are not enough jobs. To make matters worse, the country lost 11 million jobs last year, according to a startling report by the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. People in both cities and villages have been hit. 2/3 of Indians live in villages, where the majority of the job losses have taken place. Even people belonging to politically influential upper caste groups have fallen upon hard times. Mr. Modi's party hopes that this quoted announcement will help it win back the upper castes, traditionally the party's faithful base, who are now economically struggling because of a lack of jobs and a sluggish business environment. But, as Pratap Banu Mehta, Vice-Chancellor at Ashoka University, says, announcing a quota to tackle what is essentially a dire jobs crisis is cynical politics. Cynical policy. Many believe it is cynical because it will be difficult for Mr. Modi's government to honor this promise. For one thing, there is not enough time to enforce it before the elections, which must be held by May. Secondly, this move may still run into legal challenges. and the top cut may yet strike it down. Thirdly, it could trigger another wave of affirmative action demands from other groups like minorities and women. Most importantly, there are not enough government jobs to honor the quota. There were 70 million jobs in the government in 2012, down from 19 million in 1991. The fact is that an increasing number of people in India are clamoring for a consistently shrinking number of government jobs. More people want a slice, but the pie is getting smaller each year. This may be good politics, but it also reflects a sense of desperation about India's jobless growth trajectory, says Mr. Vishnav. The summer elections will prove whether it's good politics. After all, as political scientist Dishayam Babu says, Indian voters are astute. They are very suspicious of pre-election promises of this kind. A poacher has been ordered to watch the Disney film Bambi repeatedly after he was convicted of illegally killing hundreds of deer. Missouri hunter David Barry, Jr., must view the film at least once a month during his year-long sentence. He was arrested in August along with 2 family members for killing the deer, taking their heads and leaving their bodies to rot. Prosecutors said it is reportedly one of the biggest poaching cases in Missouri history. On top of the jail sentence for the illegal deer hunting, Judge Robert George ordered Barry Jr. to view the Walt Disney movie Bambi, with the first viewing being on before December 24, 2018, and at least one such viewing each month thereafter. During his spell in prison, the 1942 cartoon about woodland creatures shows a hunter kill the mother of eponymous deer character Bambi. A months-long investigation, spanning several states, led to the arrest of Barry Jr., his father David Barry, Sr., and his brother Kyle Barry, according to local newspaper, the Springfield News Leader. While the total number of deer taken illegally is unknown, Lawrence County's conservation agent Andy Barnes said it could be several hundred. Barry Jr. received a year-long sentence in Lawrence County Prison after pleading guilty to illegally taking wildlife. He has also been sentenced to a 120-day term in Barton County Prison for a firearms prohibition violation, and both he and his father had their hunting privileges revoked for life by the Missouri Conservation Commission. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park in eastern Henan Province said it would waive the $9.40 65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. U.S. Huawei phones shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success in bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday, https:// COQXL1IYPQL pic. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuoShunji. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products